Welcome to this English listening practice podcast.
I'm here with my co-host, and today we're diving deep into one of the most important topics for anyone trying to improve their life: how to build good habits and break bad ones.
This episode is different from others you might have heard. We're going to speak slowly and clearly so you can follow along naturally. We're going to explore not just what habits are, but why they control so much of your life. And most importantly, we're going to give you practical steps that actually work.
Because here's the truth. Your life today is the sum of your habits. The way you spend your mornings, the way you react to stress, the way you use your free time, the way you practice English. All of it comes down to habits.
And the exciting part? Habits can be changed. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You simply need to understand how habits work and then work with them, not against them.
That's exactly right. And I want to say something important right at the start. This episode is about 50 minutes long. Actually, we've expanded it to over an hour because there's so much valuable information to share.
Now, you might be thinking, an hour? That's too long.
But here's what I want you to consider. If you can spend 1 hour learning how to change your habits, that knowledge could transform the next year of your life. 1 hour of listening could save you hundreds of hours of frustration.
So this is not just English practice. This is life practice.
And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to sit still and concentrate the whole time. You can listen while you walk. You can listen while you clean your house. You can listen while you cook dinner. You can listen on the bus or train.
Just let the words flow into your mind. Don't worry if you miss a word here or there. The important ideas will repeat throughout the episode.
Your brain is powerful. It will absorb more than you realize.
Before we begin, let me ask you something personal. Think about one habit you wish you could change. Maybe it's checking your phone too much. Maybe it's procrastinating. Maybe it's eating unhealthy food when you're stressed. Maybe it's not practicing English consistently.
Whatever it is, hold that habit in your mind. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why that habit exists and what you can do about it.
And one more thing before we start. Many people listen to podcasts and think, that was interesting, and then nothing changes. We don't want that for you.
So as we talk, we encourage you to think about your own life. Think about your own habits. Think about what small change you could make today.
Because information without action is just entertainment. But information plus action? That's transformation.
Are you ready?
Let's explore the fascinating world of habits. So, what exactly is a habit? A habit is something you do regularly, often without thinking. It is an action or behavior that becomes automatic. Let me give you some examples from daily life. When you wake up in the morning, you probably do the same things every day. You might reach for your phone before you even open your eyes fully. You brush your teeth. You drink coffee or tea. You put on your shoes in the same order. You don't stop and think about these actions. You don't have an internal debate. You just do them. That is because they are habits. Now here's something interesting. Researchers estimate that about 40% of our daily actions are habits, not conscious decisions. Think about that. Almost half of what you do every day is automatic. This means that a huge part of your life is determined by patterns you've built over time, not by choices you're actively making.
And habits are not only physical actions. They can also be mental habits. Some people have a habit of worrying automatically. When something good happens, they immediately think, what could go wrong? Some people have a habit of thinking negatively. They see problems instead of opportunities. Some people have a habit of doubting themselves. When they accomplish something, they think, I just got lucky. These thought patterns are also habits. And just like physical habits, they were created through repetition. Nobody is born a worrier. Nobody is born pessimistic. These are learned patterns.
The important thing to understand is this. Habits are created through repetition. When you repeat something many times, your brain learns it. The first time you do something, it requires attention and effort. The second time, it's a little easier. The 10th time, even easier. By the 100th time, you don't even think about it. Over time, the action becomes easier. Then it becomes automatic. Let me give you an example. When you first learned to tie your shoes as a child, it was difficult. You had to concentrate. You had to use both hands carefully. You probably made mistakes. But now, you can tie your shoes while thinking about something completely different. You can even tie your shoes in the dark. That's the power of repetition. Your brain has turned the action into a habit. This means habits are not about willpower or personality. They're about patterns. They are about neurology. They're about how your brain saves energy by automating repeated actions.
That point is very important, so let me emphasize it again. Many people think they have bad habits because they are lazy or weak or lack discipline. But that is not true. Habits exist because the brain likes efficiency. The brain is always trying to save energy. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy, even though it's only about 2% of your body weight. So when your brain learns a repeated action, it turns it into a habit to save energy. This is actually helpful. This is intelligent. Without habits, daily life would be exhausting. Imagine if you had to think carefully about every single small action. Imagine if brushing your teeth required complete concentration every time. Imagine if you had to relearn how to make breakfast every morning. You would be mentally exhausted before noon. So habits are a gift from your brain. The problem is not habits themselves. The problem is when habits work against us instead of helping us. When we develop habits that harm our health. When we develop habits that waste our time. When we develop habits that prevent us from reaching our goals.
And here's the good news. Once you understand that habits are learned behaviors, not personal failures, change becomes much easier. You are not fighting against who you are. You are simply rewiring patterns in your brain. And the brain is incredibly adaptable. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. It means the brain can change throughout your entire life. You can build new neural pathways. You can strengthen new behaviors. You can weaken old behaviors. At any age, at any stage of life. This is powerful knowledge. It means you are never too old to change. You are never too set in your ways. Your past does not determine your future. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 1. A habit is something you do regularly, often without thinking. Habits are formed through repetition. About 40% of our daily actions are habits. Habits can be changed at any age. Your brain is adaptable.
Now let's talk about the difficult part. Why bad habits are so hard to break. Bad habits are difficult to break because they usually give us something we want in the moment. They help us avoid stress. They help us avoid boredom. They help us avoid difficult feelings. They give us instant pleasure or relief. For example, when you feel tired or stressed, you might scroll on your phone instead of studying. Why? Because scrolling is easy. It's entertaining. It requires no effort. When you feel bored, you might eat snacks even if you are not hungry. Why? Because eating gives you something to do. It stimulates your senses. When something feels difficult, you might avoid it completely. Why? Because avoiding feels safer than trying and possibly failing. These habits feel good now. They solve an immediate problem. But later, they often create bigger problems. You might feel guilty about wasting time. You might feel disappointed in yourself for not studying. You might feel stressed because nothing in your life is changing. You might feel unhealthy from eating poorly. So bad habits give short-term relief, but long-term regret.
There's actually a scientific reason for this. Your brain has two systems for making decisions. The first system is fast and emotional. It wants pleasure now. It avoids pain now. The second system is slow and logical. It thinks about the future. It considers consequences. Bad habits are controlled by the first system. When you're stressed and you reach for your phone, you're not thinking, will this help me in the long term? No. You're thinking, I need relief right now. The emotional brain takes over. And here's the problem. The emotional brain is stronger than the logical brain, especially when you're tired, stressed, or hungry. This is why you can know that a habit is bad for you and still do it anyway. It's not because you're stupid. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because your emotional brain is seeking immediate comfort.
Another reason bad habits are hard to break is because people try to change too much, too fast. I see this all the time. Someone decides they want to improve their life, so they make huge promises. Starting tomorrow, I will wake up at 5 a.m. I will exercise for 1 hour every day. I will stop eating sugar completely. I will study English for 2 hours every night. They try to change everything at once. And what happens? They succeed for 2 days, maybe 3 days. They feel motivated and excited. But then life gets busy. They feel tired. They have a stressful day. And suddenly, all those big changes feel impossible. So they give up. They return to their old habits. And then they feel like failures. But the problem was not their character. The problem was their approach. Big changes are scary for the brain. The brain wants safety and familiarity. So when change feels too difficult, too different, too uncomfortable, the brain resists. It pulls you back to what feels normal, even if normal isn't good for you.
This is why people quit New Year's resolutions. This is why gym memberships go unused after February. This is why language learning apps sit forgotten on phones. The intention is good, but the method is too aggressive. Breaking a bad habit does not mean fighting yourself. It does not mean using force and discipline to overpower your desires. It means understanding why the habit exists and changing it slowly, gently, strategically. Think of it like steering a large ship. You cannot turn a ship instantly. If you try to turn too sharply, you might capsize. But if you turn the wheel gradually, the ship changes direction smoothly. Your habits are the same way. Small adjustments over time create big changes in direction.
Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I had a bad habit of checking my phone first thing in the morning. Before I even got out of bed, I would reach for my phone. I would check messages. I would check social media. I would check news. And by the time I actually started my day, I already felt stressed and distracted. I knew this habit was bad for me. I knew it was affecting my focus and my mood. But every morning, I did it anyway. So I tried to quit completely. I told myself, no more phone in the morning. That lasted 2 days. Then I realized I was approaching it wrong. Instead of removing the habit, I needed to replace it. So I started small. Instead of checking my phone, I would drink a glass of water first. Just that. Nothing else. After a week, that became easy. Then I added another step. Water, then 5 minutes of stretching. After another week, that became easy. Then I added another step. Water, stretching, then 10 minutes of reading. Each small addition felt manageable. And over time, my morning habit completely changed. Now, I don't even think about my phone in the morning. I drink water, I stretch, I read, and then I start my day with clarity. The habit changed because I worked with my brain, not against it. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 2. Bad habits give comfort in the short term, but regret in the long term. Your emotional brain seeks immediate relief. Big changes are difficult to maintain. Small, gradual changes work better. Understanding is more powerful than force.
So if bad habits are easy to start but hard to break, what about good habits? Good habits are built in the same way bad habits are built, through repetition. The difference is that good habits often feel uncomfortable at first. Studying instead of relaxing. Exercising instead of sitting. Eating healthy food instead of junk food. listening to English instead of scrolling on your phone. These actions do not give instant pleasure. They require effort. They require discipline. They give long-term results, not immediate satisfaction. That is why starting small is so important. Many people fail to build good habits because they start too big. If your goal is to improve English, you do not need to study for hours every day. You can start by listening for just 5 minutes. You can read one short paragraph. You can learn 3 new words. These actions are so small that they feel easy. And easy actions can be repeated. Repeated actions become habits.
There's a concept I want to share with you called the 2-minute rule. This rule says, when you're building a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Now you might think, 2 minutes? That's nothing. That won't create any results. But here's what you're missing. The goal is not results at first. The goal is consistency. Let me explain. If you want to build a habit of reading, don't start by saying, I'll read for 1 hour every night. Start by saying, I'll read 1 page every night. 1 page takes less than 2 minutes. It feels so easy that you have no excuse not to do it. And when you do it every single day, something magical happens. Some days, you'll read just 1 page and stop. But other days, you'll think, this is interesting. I'll read a little more. And you'll read 2 pages, or 5 pages, or a whole chapter. But it all started with 1 page. The habit of showing up is more important than the amount of work you do.
This is true for any habit. Want to start exercising? Don't commit to 1 hour at the gym. Commit to putting on your exercise clothes. That's it. Just get dressed for exercise. Once you're dressed, you'll probably do some exercise. But even if you don't, you've honored your commitment. Want to practice English every day? Don't commit to studying for 30 minutes. Commit to opening your English app or playing one English podcast. Once it's open, you'll probably do more. But even if you don't, you've honored your commitment. This approach removes the pressure. It removes the resistance. And over time, the small action becomes automatic. Once it's automatic, you can gradually increase it. But first, you must make it a habit.
Consistency is more important than intensity. Let me say that again because it's one of the most important principles of habit building. Consistency is more important than intensity. It's better to study English for 10 minutes every single day than to study for 3 hours once a week. Why? Because habits are built through repetition, not through effort. Your brain learns patterns through frequency. If you do something every day, even if it's small, your brain recognizes it as important. It strengthens the neural pathways. It makes the action easier and more automatic. But if you do something once a week, even if it's intense, your brain doesn't recognize it as a pattern. It remains effortful. It remains something you have to force yourself to do. Think about learning a language. A person who studies 10 minutes every day for a year will make more progress than a person who studies 3 hours once a week for a year. Why? Because language learning requires daily exposure. Your brain needs to hear the language, process it, sleep on it, and repeat. This daily rhythm creates fluency. Sporadic intensive study creates frustration.
Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you want to work hard. Other days you feel tired. Other days you feel discouraged. Other days you don't want to do anything. But habits do not depend on motivation. They depend on routine. If you do something small every day, even when you do not feel motivated, progress will happen. Good habits grow quietly. You may not notice change at first. You might study English every day for a month and think, I don't feel any different. But then someone speaks English to you and you understand. Or you watch a movie without subtitles and you follow the story. Or you express yourself more easily than before. The progress was happening the whole time. You just couldn't see it day by day. It's like watching a plant grow. You don't see it grow if you stare at it every hour. But if you water it consistently and check after a few weeks, you'll see clear growth. Habits work the same way. Trust the process. Trust consistency. Trust small actions repeated over time.
One more important point about building good habits. Environment matters. Your environment can make habits easier or harder. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow. When you go to bed, you'll see it. If you want to drink more water, fill a water bottle and put it on your desk. When you're thirsty, it's right there. If you want to practice English, download podcasts to your phone and put the app on your home screen. When you open your phone, you'll see it. Make good habits visible. Make good habits easy. Make good habits convenient. And do the opposite for bad habits. If you want to use your phone less, put it in another room. If you want to eat less junk food, don't buy it. If you want to watch less TV, unplug it. Make bad habits invisible. Make bad habits difficult. Make bad habits inconvenient. Your willpower is limited, but your environment is powerful. Design your environment to support the person you want to become. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 3. Start small and stay consistent. Use the 2-minute rule. Consistency matters more than intensity. Good habits grow slowly and quietly. Design your environment to support your habits.
So, in that example, when you feel stressed, instead of eating cookies, you could go for a short walk, call a friend, do some deep breathing, listen to calming music, drink herbal tea. These actions also provide comfort and relief from stress. They're replacements, not removals. Your brain still gets what it wants, but you're directing it toward a healthier behavior. Let's apply this to language learning. Imagine you have a habit of watching TV in your native language when you get home from work. The trigger is arriving home and feeling tired. The action is watching TV. The reward is relaxation and entertainment. If you simply tell yourself, "I won't watch TV anymore," you'll probably fail. But if you replace it, you might succeed. When you get home and feel tired, you could watch English shows with subtitles, or listen to an English podcast while making dinner, or watch English YouTube videos about topics you enjoy. You're still getting relaxation and entertainment, but now you're also improving your English. This is replacement, not removal. And it works because it respects how your brain operates.
Now let's talk about one of the most effective strategies for breaking bad habits: replacement. One of the best ways to break a bad habit is to replace it, not remove it. Let me explain why this works. Every habit has 3 parts. Scientists call this the habit loop. First, there is a trigger. This is the thing that starts the habit. It could be a time of day, a location, an emotion, or another action. Second, there is an action. This is the behavior itself. It's what you actually do. Third, there is a result or reward. This is what you get from the behavior. It's usually a feeling, pleasure, relief, satisfaction, entertainment. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have a habit of eating cookies when you're stressed. The trigger is stress. The action is eating cookies. The reward is feeling comforted and distracted from stress. If you try to simply stop eating cookies, you're removing the action but not addressing the trigger or the reward. So when stress comes, your brain still wants comfort. It still wants relief. And since the action is gone, you feel uncomfortable and deprived. This is why removing a habit often fails. But if you replace the action, you can satisfy the trigger and get a reward while building a better pattern.
For replacement to work, you need to identify your triggers. Pay attention to when your bad habits happen. Is it a certain time of day? Is it when you're in a specific location? Is it when you're feeling a particular emotion? Is it after another action? Once you know your triggers, you can prepare replacements. You can plan ahead. When I feel bored, instead of scrolling on my phone, I will read an article in English. When I feel stressed, instead of eating junk food, I will go for a walk. When I feel like procrastinating, instead of watching videos, I will work for just 5 minutes. Having a plan makes replacement much easier. Without a plan, you rely on willpower in the moment. And in the moment, willpower usually loses to habit. But with a plan, you have a predetermined response. You've already decided what to do. This removes the need for willpower. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 4. Replace habits instead of removing them. Every habit has 3 parts: trigger, action, reward. Identify your triggers and prepare replacements. Plan ahead to make replacement easier. Small changes are powerful.
Replacement also works for mental habits. If you have a habit of thinking negatively, you can't simply tell yourself, "Stop thinking negatively." That doesn't work. In fact, it often makes it worse. But you can replace negative thoughts with more balanced thoughts. Instead of, "I'm terrible at English," you can think, "I'm still learning English." Instead of, "I always fail," you can think, "I've succeeded before, and I can succeed again." Instead of, "This is too hard," you can think, "This is challenging, but I can take it one step at a time." These replacements acknowledge reality while being kinder and more constructive. Over time, these new thoughts can become habitual.
For replacement to work, you need to identify your triggers. Pay attention to when your bad habits happen. Is it a certain time of day? Is it when you're in a specific location? Is it when you're feeling a particular emotion? Is it after another action? Once you know your triggers, you can prepare replacements. You can plan ahead. When I feel bored, instead of scrolling on my phone, I will read an article in English. When I feel stressed, instead of eating junk food, I will go for a walk. When I feel like procrastinating, instead of watching videos, I will work for just 5 minutes. Having a plan makes replacement much easier. Without a plan, you rely on willpower in the moment. And in the moment, willpower usually loses to habit. But with a plan, you have a predetermined response. You've already decided what to do. This removes the need for willpower. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 4. Replace habits instead of removing them. Every habit has 3 parts: trigger, action, reward. Identify your triggers and prepare replacements. Plan ahead to make replacement easier. Small changes are powerful.
I want to share something that changed my perspective on setbacks. There's a saying, "Never miss twice." This means that if you miss your habit one day, that's okay. But make sure you don't miss the next day. Because missing once is an exception, but missing twice is the beginning of a new pattern. And your brain learns from patterns. So if you miss one day of practicing English, don't worry. Just make sure you practice the next day. If you miss one day of exercise, that's fine. Just make sure you exercise the next day. The key is not perfection. The key is resilience. It's the ability to get back on track quickly. People who succeed with habits are not perfect. They just recover faster than people who fail.
Another important point about setbacks, they can teach you valuable lessons. When you break a habit or skip a day, ask yourself why. Were you too tired? Were you too stressed? Was your goal too ambitious? Did you not have a plan? Did something unexpected happen? Understanding why you failed helps you adjust. Maybe you need to start smaller. Maybe you need to build the habit at a different time of day. Maybe you need more support. Maybe you need to change your environment. Every setback contains information. Use it.
Being patient with yourself is not weakness. It is wisdom. Many people think they need to be harsh with themselves to change. They think self-criticism will motivate them. But research shows the opposite is true. People who are kind to themselves when they fail are more likely to try again. People who are harsh with themselves often give up because they feel ashamed. Think about it. If you had a friend who was trying to change a habit and they missed a day, what would you say to them? Would you say, "You're weak. You have no discipline. You always fail"? Of course not. You would probably say, "That's okay. Everyone has difficult days. What matters is that you keep trying." So why don't we speak to ourselves the same way? Treat yourself like you would treat a friend. Be encouraging. Be understanding. Be supportive. This doesn't mean making excuses. It means being realistic and compassionate.
Let me share a final thought about patience. Real change happens slowly. Our culture teaches us to expect instant results. We see headlines like, "Transform your life in 30 days." We see advertisements promising quick fixes. But real, lasting change doesn't work that way. If you want to learn English fluently, it might take years of consistent practice. If you want to become healthy, it might take months of consistent exercise and eating well. If you want to become disciplined, it might take dozens of small choices every day for a long time. This can feel discouraging. But here's another way to think about it. The time will pass anyway. 1 year from now, you will be 1 year older no matter what you do. The question is, who do you want to be 1 year from now? If you start building good habits today, even small ones, in 1 year you will be a different person. But if you wait for the perfect moment or give up after the first setback, in 1 year you'll be in the same place you are now. The time will pass either way. You might as well use it to become the person you want to be. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 5. Progress is not perfect. One bad day does not ruin everything. Never miss twice. Setbacks teach valuable lessons. Patience leads to success. The time will pass anyway. Use it wisely.
Now let's bring all of this together and talk specifically about making English a daily habit. Learning English works best when it becomes part of your daily life, not something separate from it. Many people treat English like a task. They say, "I need to study English today." And studying feels like work. It feels like effort. It feels like something you have to force yourself to do. But what if English was just part of your day, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee? What if it was so integrated into your routine that you didn't have to think about it? That's when real progress happens.
You do not need long study sessions to improve your English. You need regular exposure. Think about how children learn language. They don't sit at a desk for 2 hours studying grammar. They hear language all day long. They hear it when they wake up. They hear it during meals. They hear it while playing. They hear it before bed. This constant exposure is what creates fluency. And you can create the same kind of exposure for yourself with English. Listen while walking. Listen while commuting. Listen while cooking. Listen while cleaning. Listen while exercising. Listen before sleeping. Every moment of exposure helps.
Let me give you some specific strategies for making English a daily habit. Strategy 1. Attach English to an existing habit. This is called habit stacking. You take a habit you already do every day and add English to it. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will listen to an English podcast for 5 minutes. After I finish dinner, I will read 1 page in English. Before I go to bed, I will write 3 sentences in English about my day. By connecting English to something you already do, it becomes automatic. Strategy 2. Make English your default entertainment. Most people spend time every day on entertainment. Social media, YouTube, TV shows, news articles. What if you did all of that in English? Change your phone language to English. Watch shows in English with English subtitles. Follow social media accounts in English about topics you enjoy. Read news in English. You're still getting entertainment, but you're also improving your English without extra effort. Strategy 3. Use dead time. Dead time is time when you're waiting or doing something that doesn't require mental focus. Waiting for the bus, standing in line, doing dishes, folding laundry. These are perfect moments for English. Play a podcast. Review flashcards. Practice pronunciation. These small moments add up to hours every week.
Strategy 4. Find English content you actually enjoy. This is crucial. Many people force themselves to use boring English materials because they think that's what learning should be. They read textbooks they hate. They listen to lectures they find dull. They study topics they don't care about. And then they wonder why they have no motivation. Here's the truth. You will learn much more from interesting content than from boring content, even if the interesting content is slightly easier. Why? Because you'll actually do it. You'll actually listen. You'll actually pay attention. You'll actually continue. So find English content about topics you love. Do you like cooking? Watch English cooking channels. Do you like sports? Listen to English sports podcasts. Do you like technology? Read English tech blogs. Do you like music? Listen to English songs and read the lyrics. Do you like stories? Read English novels or watch English shows. When English is connected to your interests, it stops feeling like work. It starts feeling like pleasure. And that's when habits become effortless.
Strategy 5. Celebrate small wins. Every time you practice English, even for 5 minutes, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, I did it. I'm making progress. This might sound silly, but it's powerful. Your brain responds to positive reinforcement. When you celebrate small actions, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine makes you feel good, and feeling good makes you want to repeat the action. This is how habits become self-sustaining. You don't need to celebrate dramatically. You don't need to reward yourself with something big. Just notice. Just acknowledge. Just appreciate that you showed up. Over time, this builds confidence and momentum.
Let me tell you what happens when English becomes a true habit. You stop forcing it. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop thinking, should I practice today or not? You just do it. Like brushing your teeth. Like drinking water when you're thirsty. Like sitting down to eat when you're hungry. It becomes part of who you are, not something you do. And that's when real fluency develops. Not through intense study sessions. Not through willpower and discipline. But through natural, consistent, daily exposure. English stops being a subject. It becomes a tool. It becomes a part of your life. And one day, you'll realize you're thinking in English. You're dreaming in English. You're understanding without translating. That's the power of habit. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 6. Learning English works best when it becomes part of daily life. You don't need long study sessions. You need regular exposure. Use habit stacking, dead time, and entertainment time. Find English content you actually enjoy. Celebrate small wins. When English becomes a habit, learning feels natural. Before we finish, I want to share one final concept that will help you understand why small habits matter so much. It's called the compound effect. The compound effect means that small actions, repeated consistently over time, create enormous results. Think about compound interest in a bank account. If you save $1 today, it's just $1. But if you save $1 every day for a year, you have $365. And if that money earns interest, it grows even more. Small amounts, repeated consistently, compound into something significant. Habits work the same way.
If you improve your English by just 1% every day, you won't notice the change. Day 1, 1% better. Day 2, 1% better. Day 3, 1% better. Each day feels the same. But after 1 year of improving 1% every day, you're not 365% better. You're much, much better than that. Because the improvements compound. Each day's progress builds on the previous day's progress. And over time, that creates transformation. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. One huge study session might make you 20% better for one day, but 10 minutes of practice every single day will make you fluent over time.
The compound effect works both ways. Good habits compound into success. Bad habits compound into failure. If you waste just 30 minutes every day on mindless scrolling, that's 182 hours per year. That's over 7 full days. Imagine if you used those 7 days to study English instead. Small bad habits don't seem harmful in the moment, but over time, they steal your potential. Small good habits don't seem powerful in the moment, but over time, they create the life you want. The choice is yours. Pause and repeat. End of chapter 7. Small actions repeated consistently create enormous results. 1% improvement every day compounds over time. Good habits compound into success. Bad habits compound into failure. Every choice matters. We've covered a lot in this episode. Let's review the key ideas. Habits are learned behaviors formed through repetition. They are not personality traits. They can be changed at any age. Bad habits are hard to break because they give short-term comfort. The solution is not force, it's understanding and replacement. Good habits are built by starting small and being consistent. The 2-minute rule helps you begin. Consistency matters more than intensity. Setbacks are normal. Never miss twice. Be patient and kind with yourself. Make English part of your daily life, not a separate task. Use habit stacking, dead time, and content you enjoy. And trust the compound effect. Small actions repeated over time create transformation.
If you take only one thing from this episode, let it be this. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to make huge changes. You don't need to have incredible willpower. You just need to start small. You just need to be consistent. You just need to trust the process. Every day, you have a choice. You can choose to move one small step toward the person you want to become, or you can choose to stay the same. Both choices are easy in the moment, but over time, they lead to completely different lives. So choose wisely. Choose consistently. Choose yourself.
And remember, listening to this podcast today is progress. If you stayed until the end, that shows focus, commitment, and discipline. These are exactly the qualities you need to build good habits. You already have what it takes. Now you just need to apply it. Start today. Start small. Start now. Thank you for listening to this English Listening Practice podcast. This episode was designed to help you understand habits and improve your English at the same time. If you found this helpful, remember that consistency is key. Listen to podcasts like this regularly. Read in English regularly. Practice regularly. Small actions repeated over time will make you fluent. We believe in you. Now go build the habits that will build the life you want. See you in the next episode.